Welcome. We're continuing our Ticats offseason roundup presented by WeatherTech. I'm your host, Louie B, the digital host for the Hamilton Ticats. And today, very pleased to be continuing our series with the head coach of the Hamilton Ticats, Orlondo Steinauer, linebackers Simoni Lawrence and Jovan Santos-Knox. Gentlemen, it is so great to see you guys. Thank you so much for doing this. First of all, when was the last time you three have kind of all seen each other at the same place at the same time?
I was on the other side. I know that.
Yeah.
in person. But, I was able to connect with Coach O and Simoni before, Coach O before I signed and Simoni recently, so we connected recently. But last time I seen, I was in a whole different uniform, different colors. I don't even want to think about that. So that's over there, yeah.
Well, we are so excited to have you here with the Hamilton Ticats, and I'm sure I speak for Coach O. I speak for the fans who are very happy to see you here. And because we haven't talked to you since you joined, talk us a little bit about that decision-making. You said you talked to O there before you signed. So how did you come to the decision to join this organization?
It was actually quite easy. After I, talked to Coach O and I talked to the rest of the coaching staff, it just made sense. I've heard nothing but great things about this organization in the sense that it's just as professional as it gets. There's no better organization in CFL than Hamilton. And, just the historic tradition that comes behind it and whatnot, was no-brainer for me. I see myself, thriving with this unit, and I see myself within the defense. So, when I saw the interest from Hamilton, I was excited because, I've always looked at them as, looked at Hamilton as, a top organization, top team in the league.
Sim, does that reputation precede you guys? You got you out here talking about what this organization is. It's kind of reputation across the league. You've been here 7-8 years now. I feel like you play a big part of that.
I always give the credit to Coach O. He started it way back, and that's my leader. So he's one of those guys where, he gives the foundation and he lets the players be the players. And, it's a fun environment. You just get to rub and you miss it a lot. And it spreads through the league, whether you hate Hamilton or love Hamilton, however you feel about Hamilton, you want to be a part of it, like you're curious.
Yeah.
You're outside looking at it. I don't care where you play or what you say. Like, I know a lot about the league and what goes on. You're curious. You want to get your feet wet. Like, I see all the little messages when you guys get in town, like, hey, Sim, I ignore them because I think like you guys try to trick me and stuff, but I see the messages y'all send me and stuff when y'all get in town. But like, I know everybody wants to get their feet wet.
That's the one thing, Coach. I've done interviews in the opposing locker rooms, right? I've done those post game scrums in the opposing locker rooms, and the setup that you guys have in Hamilton, and Sim, you can probably talk to this too. Like the weight room, the locker room, the actual like the organizational establishments that you have, on your side of the football field. It really is a game changer, isn't it, Coach O?
It is, and I think just how Sim alluded to, the leaders and that sort of thing, it's the same thing for me. When you talk about Bob Young, our caretaker / owner, and then, of course, Scott Mitchell and, Matt Afneck has climbed through the ranks also. They're committed to winning, and that's a big thing about it. And they give us the facilities and the building, and then it's what we do with it. And I think that the first thing it starts with is, how can we unite as a coaching staff, and that sort of thing, and the bond we have there. And then it's about showing the players, giving them the best opportunity in the platform where they can perform and letting them be who they are as individuals. And then just knowing that, I like that. I like knowing that when you come to Hamilton, you got to have your chin strap buckled. That's what we do.
And
go ahead, Joe.
I can say real quick, to Coach's point, when you play Hamilton, you see the sense of swag that they have when they step onto the field as a defense, as everything, and they're going to punch you in the mouth. And that was another big part of my decision making. Is just like like Sim said, you want to be part of that culture. That it just looks like you guys got something great built, like going on over there, and just the culture and the swag that the defense steps out there with. It's inspiring. You want to be a part of it as a defensive player, as a competitor. So,
Sam, Joe mentioned there the swag, and I don't know. When I think of Simoni Lawrence, I think swag. I think swagger. So I mean,
here we go, Louie.
Coach, I mean,
I guess I got my swagger back.
You done gave him a bigger platform? There's only 4 of us. Go ahead, Sim. Go ahead, Sim.
Sim, I mean, you got the swagger, but this whole defense does. And we talk about Coach O, and I do want to get to the fact that, I mean, Coach O, you were the defensive coordinator when Sim kind of came to Hamilton. I want to talk about that in just a second. But now with Mark Washington, when you talk about it from the top, the guys buying into this organization, and yeah, Joe talks about the swag you come out in, but that's earned, isn't it? That you got to earn that reputation to be able to flaunt that reputation.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just jump in real quick, and I'll just say that I think the one cool thing that we tried to establish something solid here in 2013, and all I was in control of was the defense, and that was the sole focus. And then I had Jeff Reinbold on my staff in the second year, and he was the special teams coordinator and the linebacker coach, and we were able to kind of get like 2/3 of the team on that. And then when I knew that one day Tommy and I would work together again, we just had that bond, and when we had an opportunity to get him, it just excited me. So I would like to think that, outside of the defense, that the whole team now, all 3 phases have taken on that same identity. And as you stated, it has been earned. It's nothing that's been given, because people are always going to want to test it. Let me see what this is. And that's what it should be. This is professional ball.
Mm-hmm.
Sim, the one thing I think I've learned about you, getting to cover you the last 5-6 years is you want to get better every single year. And when you get older, that gets a little more tricky. And I'm sure Coach O can kind of attest to this. Like, you need to push yourself harder. You need to push yourself further. So do you feel like, Sim, last year, defensive player of the year, do you feel like you're at your peak right now? Like if you could go back and tell yourself 5 years ago, like 2021 Sim is going to be the best Sim?
Nah, because I got the game a little late, I got the game when I started training I remember one year I came back and I was heavy, and I remember everybody was looking at me funny, and the coach was like, "Hey, don't come back looking like that." But it's like you get the game of like when you're growing up, they tell you a whole bunch of stuff, and they're like, you gotta do this, lift this, do this, and it's like you get in tune with your body, and you're like, oh, I don't want to like say what you don't have to do, but you just start to understand your body, what your body needs to be successful. And when you get older, it's really like, oh, I got to take care of my body more and do this better, or I can't lift too many weights because I'm breaking down my body, and I don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger on the CFL field because you're not going to be able to run and go nowhere. And it's like, I don't want to do too much of this because I know I watch that guy do it and his hamstring always goes. So you try to you just look around and you see what happens to certain people, and then you go creep their page and see what they're doing. Like, all right, I'm not going to do nothing that guy's doing. I'm not. And it's like you go to the guys like, all right, that guy's always playing every season. Let me go creep on him and see what he's doing. And it's just one of those things where you trust what you see as you're growing up. So it's like when you come in your zone, and then it's also with me, it's like being around people that you trust, right? And like that you don't want to let down, because football is mental as shit if you really like. And it's like you get in a situation where it's like, oh gosh, Coach O, the head coach. Oh shit, I got put on for him, and it's like you got put on for certain people a little harder, because it's like, that's a representation right there, and it's like the people you play for your team. Like you see Taylor Rott in the front, you're like, oh, I got to do what I got to do, because I know he's going to take on like 3 double teams. You got Dylan Wynn, he's going to take on 3 double teams. You got Jaguar, who's going to rush the passer. It's just you got guys in the back locked down. It's like a whole team effort, and it's more of like a team thing than an individual thing, and trying not to let people down more.
So, Joe, to that point, I mean, you mentioned like some of the names Sim mentioned there that you're going to be lining up alongside JG, Teddy. I mean, where do you see yourself fitting in on this organization?
I'm just coming in and trying to compete and, help any type of way I can. In terms of the names that Sim just read off, those are some great names to be playing in front of. To be playing behind. Can't ask for a better front, you know what I mean? And playing next to a guy like Sim, you know what I mean? Sim's the best, will in the game, hands down. So I think our games will complement each other very well. I see people, worried about, can he play Mike? I played Mike in college, and people don't realize it's very interchangeable in a lot of ways. The Mike and the Will, so it's not a huge change or whatever to our game. I think we're actually gonna be able to complement each other a lot, very well, based off of watching him play. And I'm a student of the game, so like Sim says, I creep on other players' pages and see what they're doing and stuff like that because I'm a competitive guy at heart. And, I've been watching Sim's game since, I've stepped into his league. And, he says it best, I think you come to a point in your career where, training harder is not always the best thing for you, but training smarter is. So, whether that is, finding out what works best for your body or what doesn't, it plays a key part of it. So, I'm just excited. Those names that he named off, it's just a great group of guys. And, like I said, I just want to compete and, like Sim says, I let my teammates down.
Coach, I just want to add something there, Louie, real quick. I think the one thing that you heard from both of these guys and what's really cool and why they're Hamilton Tiger Cats is they compete. You didn't hear him say, I'm coming in here to start. You didn't hear Sim talk about starting. He's talking about competing. And they welcome all competition from everybody. Like, competition pushes players like this and men like this. And that's what you love. And then you start combining a lot of that, and it gives you the best opportunity. And therefore, you form that culture. And, having been in the locker room for 12 years, I know that's where we had the most achievement ourselves. So I think you're looking at two competitive men, and I think that's what we're always looking for, to surround these two men with those type of people. And those names that you just heard, they embody that also.
Want to go back to for this one, Coach, because something Joe said there was train smarter, not harder. And, I can go back to 2019 McMaster training camp, right? And asking where the guys are, what are they doing? Oh, they're in yoga. They're doing yoga. They're getting their bodies right. Like you're a big, you buy into that train smarter, not harder. You're all about movement. You're like, how do you feel like that has affected the way you look at the game as someone who played it in the 90s and now is coaching it in the, the 2000s here?
Great question or comment. I think, having played for 12 years, at the end of the day, football is a young man's game, as a general statement, right? We all got our chance. When we all made a football team, somebody else didn't make it. So you're always looking to get replaced. So the training smarter, not necessarily harder, is key. And I think that was part of, along with being fortunate and not getting any crazy serious injuries, that was part of my longevity. And these guys understand that, and they're not afraid to talk to the people that have went before them. I often say, I don't give all our secret sauce away, but I often say I used to look into the locker room when I went in, and I was looking at who's played 10 years. I'm not looking at the superstar right now. Oh, okay, that's how he practices. That's how he lifts. That's how he takes care of his body. I see his notebooks open. Okay, that's how I see myself one day. I respected the current All-Stars, but I wanted to see, man, 12 years, 10 years, something's going right. That's not 5 staffs that just like a guy. You got to perform. And so, yeah, I am into the body thing. I think Ike does a great job in the strength and conditioning, and Claire and Maui do an outstanding job in the therapy room. But if you don't have coaches that buy into that or find the importance of it, then they'll say, well, let's just get 10 more reps on the field. And I'm saying, let's get 10 more minutes to stretch, So, I feel I don't want to get in my training camp mode talk, but you hit it on.
I was about to say, Sam, have you noticed the difference? I mean, you've been in this organization, 8 years. Coach has been, he was here, left, is back now. We're all happy he's back. But have you noticed the difference in terms of the way you've trained under head coach Orlondo Steinauer versus maybe DC or a different coach?
100%. I mean, you just a student of the game. I think that Coach O does a great job letting everybody knows what he wants and everybody's on the same page. And I see a lot of people coming to practice more, doing what they need to do more, not missing certain things, and just being available, being available to be great.
Joe, we talked about joining this organization, what it means, but I mean, the fan base here is, Sim will tell you, Coach O will tell you, this fan base of the Hamilton Ticats, there's something else, right? Like they love their football team. They love their Ticats. I'm sure fans have already reached out to you, but what's it been like? What's that reaction been like from the fans from your perspective?
Oh, it's been all love. Like you said, in my time being in the CFL, I haven't been like, I feel like this fan group just goes above and beyond to make their players feel special and feel welcome, and just it's been a great experience just signing. I haven't even stepped on the field, and I'm getting the amount of love as I'm getting from the fans. It's just it's amazing, and it speaks volumes to what this how much this team means to the community and whatnot. So like I said, I used to be the guy on the other side. And, just coming into the stadium, we knew, not only do you just come to play and prepare to be ready for, to get punched in the mouth on Hamilton, but you had to get ready for those fans who are just going to be on you all game and not let up at all. And you love it. You got to love it, as a football player. There's no better, feeling than having, an engaged audience, an engaged fan base like we do in Hamilton. So, I'm excited. I'm excited to get out there and actually meet, interact with the fans, and it's a special place for sure.
Sam, can you put that feeling into words? Can you describe what it's like, to run out at midfield, come through the Caretakers Club, 25,000 people screaming? Like, what is that feeling like, and what does that do for you? When that kickoff starts, like, what does it do? Like, what does it translate to on the field?
Shoot, it's a superpower. I tell everybody, everybody always shows me video clips, and they're like, what does that feel like? And the thing about football is it's something you just got to feel. It's something you got to have the pads on, you got to have the cleats on, you got to have the helmet on, and you got to be on that field, because the fans is a big part of it, and then you see all your teammates, and your opponents. That's another huge part of it too. The fans are, of course, we drive off of fans, but knowing that you're about to go to a battle with your brothers and against another team that they think like you think, and they're like, we better than them guys. We better than them guys. It's like, shit, let's go out here and prove it. Let's see what's up. It's too many different emotions to even try to put it in words, really.
And Coach Joe, I mean, you've been out of the game, but you mentioned your 12-year career. I'm sure there's still times where the donut box is rocking, right? Tim Hortons Field is going nuts, and you feel like you could probably put on some pads and maybe go out there and hit a few bodies.
Depends who you ask. I might have a kickoff, a number 12 contain in me. I might have a contain, maybe a second level. I know I got a pick in me, but I don't know. But anyways, I said it's a young man's game. I'm not going to relive, but we did all right for a few years in there when I played. But I'll say this, even though our stadium changed, the people didn't. So I remember Ivor Wynn when I played in Hamilton, and when we won the Grey Cup in '99. Even when we didn't, you'd think that we were the beast of the East, even though we weren't. We didn't win a lot in '97. Just the fans are passionate. And then when I left and went to the enemy down to QEW and put on the double blue and came back, oh man, it's like you were never there. Yeah. It's like you were never there.
That's how it got me.
But when I came back to the black and yellow, it's like I never left. So that's the passion. It's like I can't even see you in that other number. So the fans make us go. And I think Sim hit it bang on from the perspective of it's something you have to feel. It's trying to put into words, and then Jovan will give you that perspective from coming in from the other way. So I think we've kind of encaptured it a little bit.
Coach, 2013, January 3rd, 2013, you were hired as the defensive coordinator for the Ticats. Almost a month later, just over a month, Simoni Lawrence, Jeremiah Masoli, they joined the team in a trade. Your careers have really been intermingled throughout this organization the last 8 years. Can you just speak a little bit about how you've seen Simoni grow as a player, how you've seen him grow as a man on the field, off the field in these last 8 years here.
Yeah, so part of being the DC was evaluating what we had. And unfortunately, whatever the reason was, there was a new staff that came in, so things obviously didn't go right. So there's always going to be some sort of change. And when I looked at number 48 for the Edmonton Eskimos, I saw they were using him as a DI. I saw these gangly feet running around, and he played a little bit of nickel type of deals sparingly in the games he played against us. And I said, I think we can harness that, and it excited us as a defensive staff when we eval'd it. And then when, Kent and I think ET helped pull the trigger and get a guy like Jeremiah Mazzoli in the building. First of all, you're getting people that love football. And then after you get him in the building, even though you can do your due diligence, as you start to get to know him as a player and those sort of things. And Sim will tell you a better story than this. I remember I was excited. We had him all moved around. We moved Jamal Johnson from Will to Mike, a lot like Jovan here, right? And to make room for Sim. And then he goes and hurts his hamstring like 2 days before. I said, oh, Lord, what do we got? Here's a guy, he ain't go. But that's really the only time. So, it's exciting, when you see things on tape. But what you couldn't see on tape was the passion that this man has for football. I think you turn on the tape of Jovan, especially 2 years ago, and you see the same type of passion. You're talking about people that love the game of football.
Sim, you remember walking into that meeting room the first time, working with Coach O, 2013, and how do you feel, again, just to reflect on Coach O's point there, how do you feel like you've grown these last 8 years?
I feel like, of course we had different staff in there, but one thing about Coach O is like, he's the definition of consistency, right? Like what you see is from him is what you get. Like no matter what's going on, when you see Coach O, he's going to be who you met, So it's like that's something that I love, just especially about playing sports and stuff. Just if you go in front of Coach O, you're going to get the same vibe, the same energy. You come in the meeting room, it's going to be consistent, and the message is not going to waver. Whether we just lost 8 games in a row or won 8 games in a row, it's the consistency, and that's what you love as a player.
So, Joe, when you hear all this stuff, when you hear, Coach O talk about how he's seen Simoni, how he looks at players, how he evaluates talent, again, what is it, again, a question I asked you at the beginning of this, but now, 15, 20 minutes into it, what are your thoughts? Like, what are you feeling right now joining this organization?
I just know, I'm getting the best coaching. That was a huge part of my decision too, is, coaching. I want to continue to be coach. I feel like, I haven't tapped into my full potential yet. And, I feel like, with the right coach, I'm always willing to learn. So with Coach O and the rest of the staff, I feel like I will never stop learning. That's something that's big for me because, no matter how long you play in the game, you could always learn something, you know what I mean? And just being able to play alongside a guy like Sim, watching him play, just throughout the league and whatnot, throughout my time in the league, just seeing his passion for the game and stuff, it just, like Coach says, we see eye to eye with that. I'm right here with him when he's talking compete. And, I think one of our first conversations I had with him, he's like, it's going to be a race to the ball. And we like that. I embrace that. Like when I hear that, I love the sound of that because, I know Sim's going to do everything in his power to get the tackle and I'm going to do everything in my power to beat him. So, I think iron sharpens iron. And, with this staff and with this, with this unit and just being able to work with them, you're going to see the best, me, I think, that the CFL has seen.
I've never put on pads at McMaster, right? When May rolls around, but I know the days are getting longer.
No way.
It feels right. Can you believe it, Sim? But like, I can feel it. Like I can feel it in my gut. Like days are getting longer. Weather's getting nicer. Like football season's right around the corner. Like, what are you feeling right now? We'll go around the horn here to wrap this up. But Sim, what are you feeling right now? Knowing that this season is getting closer. Haven't played since 2019. We know how the last time the Ticats hit we know what happened. We don't have to go down that road, right? But what are you feeling right now as spring's getting here and just that desire to play? What are you feeling?
You try to harness it because it's like you don't want to blow so quick, but it's just another unreal experience. I remember, so yesterday we had some great weather, so we were doing one-on-ones, and just like go sharp and just see where you're at, like mentally. So you go work with like the college kids, the high school kids, and then you get so I'm like, oh man, like you're going against receivers doing one-on-ones. And then you get your first breakup, and you're just like, let's go. I'm ready. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for Stevie B. I'm good. Let's go. It's just football's one of those things where, you get your feet wet. You get your feet wet a little bit. You just keep riding that bike and putting a little bit more on it. And then when you get to camp, like, it's go time.
Joe, how you feeling? What are you feeling right now?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm anxious and excited. I feel like my season, I didn't have, the season I wanted to, the last time I stepped on the field. So, I put in a lot of work since that time, and I'm just anxious to show, my body of work. Everything I've put in this off season, last off season. It's been 2 off seasons now, I guess. 2 seasons of just, grinding and just ready to show it and get that itch. I got that itch right now, like to play football. Like you said, it's getting warmer out here. We're getting nicer days. We're going from the bubble. Now we're moving outside. And once you get on that field, you lace them up. It's a whole different, it's like you're home. You know what I mean? You're back in your comfort zone. So the minute we get back out, I'm just, I'm crossing my fingers that we get this start date right on time, because I need football. So.
Coach, finish us off here. How you feeling? What, days getting longer, spring's around the corner. What are you feeling right now?
All the emotions, just ready. You know what I mean? Like, ready just sums it up. It's generic, but it's the truth. Just ready. Like, whatever happens, like, we're ready. We'll be ready. Like, we're no excuse. We'll be ready to rock. But, just being in front of these guys got my juices flowing, like, and I just picture that first team meeting when there's 100 people out there, and it's just like, yeah, we're going to get this done with the people in this room right now. Get used to it. Let's start building this bond. Let's ride. Like, that excites me. So, but again, if I do all that, I won't have anything for the first meeting. So
right.
I got to train smarter too, right? I got to train smarter too.
Gentlemen, it is great to see y'all. Thank you so much for doing this. Like Coach O said, I can't wait to be there at McMaster day 1 of training camp to get to see you guys in person. But thank you. I know the fans appreciate it. I know I appreciate it. So thank you very much for doing this.